Like a lot of our listeners, you're probably looking at transitioning out of, say, a highly paid corporate career, and you're probably trying to figure out how to do it. Well, as you probably know, here at eBusiness Institute, that's what we specialize in training people to do. And what I want to share with you today is an interview or an update interview with an amazing couple of ours who have done what you're possibly trying to do, transition out of a corporate career to a significant income. Now, these guys, they just emailed me with an update after 3 years. They have just hit their first $50,000 month. Plus, Simone has quit her job fully. But really interestingly, Jordan loves his job. He's going to talk about it in this interview. So he's still full-time in his job. So what we want to do is capture this moment in time to celebrate the guy's success. They've got some other successes as well that they're going to share with us, but also see what lessons we can learn that could help you on your journey getting to where these guys are. It doesn't always have to be super quick overnight, get the massive success. So let's jump into it. Welcome, Jordan and Simone. Thanks so much for coming on again, guys.
Thanks, Matt.
Thank you, Matt.
And seriously, big congratulations to you both. This is a really cool time because last time we had you on the podcast, I believe it was Liz that interviewed you both, and we were celebrating you two earning your first $1,000 online. Do you remember those days? Back in, I'll look at my notes here, 2022.
Wow.
Start out with, how did you make your first $1,000 online?
Wow, that does seem like a while ago, but it was only 2 years. So how did we do it? That was mainly through our portfolio, our portfolio sites. And that was a big achievement, getting that first $1,000 in the bank account.
That's seriously well done. And did you guys do that through buying websites or through building websites?
Bit of both.
Bit of both. We bought a couple of websites that had already, well, actually, they were just beginner websites that we renovated and, just put into practice what we had learned. And then we'd also created a few of our own sites as well.
So at that time, going back there, you spent a year, so you did this, you were doing like buying and renovating websites part-time as a side hustle in the evenings, just so everyone listening to this understands where you're both at. Jordan, what's your career? Pretty cool job, I've got to say, but what is your career?
Yeah, so I work in cybersecurity as well. So yeah, I was full-time working in there, and I think Simone, you were full-time in your job then as well, yeah.
What were you doing, Simone? You get another cool job because we have a lot of people in your sort of a role, as you know, in our community. What was your role back in the good old days?
Yeah, in those days, so I was working as a physiotherapist.
Yep. And you were fairly senior, I seem to remember at the time.
Yes, I had a senior physio position, and I had worked in like private, public, and like community health settings, but at that time I was working in the public health.
Okay, so you hit your first $1,000 online. You bought I am going to mention this now because I want the update. One of those sites, the learner sites that you bought, you don't have to say the exact name, but I reckon you should share just a little bit of details because I want an update. How's it going? How much did it cost and what have you done with it? And be honest about it too. I'm your mentor here. I probably can guess how much work you've done on it, but how much did you spend when you bought it? And roughly what sort of niche was it in?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was about $6,500 US
at
the time, and we bought it from a guy who created it, and he was in that industry, so I had a lot of eat in there, and we saw it as a great opportunity to buy a portfolio site. We renovated it, we redid the homepage, put on a new theme, renovated it, added a couple of articles, cleaned up a couple of articles, and yeah, it consistently makes about $200 to $300 US a month ongoing. It hasn't been impacted by any of the Google updates, which has been awesome.
You can see it rides like a little bit of a wave, but it's never dropped off completely. And yeah, it's doing quite well. And to be honest, now we're too busy to kind of focus on it, so it just sits there and it does its thing. But we didn't just spend that amount of money on that site straight away. We bought $200, $500 websites first, put into practice what we had learned, and then we felt confident to be able to buy a bigger site.
And Yeah, and I can remember at the time when you bought that, I said to you, I bet you that turns into one of those sites, just ticks along for the next 10 years, making 200 or 300 bucks a month. And here we are, what, 2 years later, and it's still doing exactly that. And as you just admitted, Jordan, you basically don't work on it at all
Yeah,
anymore.
not much. No.
We would love to. I've got some ideas and some plans
Yep.
for it, but we just need to just have one area of focus at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, and which we'll get to in just a minute. But this is just it's just if you're listening, this is just a small little reno site. And like I pointed out to the guys at the time, hey, 6.5 grand, that's better than money in the bank after 3 years, pumping out 300 odd bucks a month US. That's not bad. You just bought that on Flipper?
Yeah.
Yep, just a standard site. It's just an affiliate. Well, it sells an ebook too, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of like a membership ebook type thing. Yep.
And you don't have to touch it. So, all right. So let's change gears. That's your portfolio side. So that was at the end of year one. So you're on our Champions program at the time. What made you decide to change gears to go to the digital agency strategy? Because both of you had, well-paid jobs, doing pretty well. You got this digital skill set now after a year's training with us. What made you change gears to, the next strategy that you took on?
Yeah. Well, I think so. We started in digital investors in 2017, and we actually started the agency first, but it was more just like doing websites for friends and family and kind of a couple a year. And then when we joined Champions, we were doing both agency and portfolio side. But we were both working full time, and we really decided, okay, how can we at least get Simone out of her full time job, and into working in the business. So we decided to focus on the agency side and really put a lot more focus and energy into that side as well. So yeah, that was probably, in the first year of Champions, we started to, okay, let's kind of move more around more to that path.
As you said, it was more of a learning year than an earning year. But then we decided the second year, like we had to focus on one particular area.
And Simone, for you, so in your role, so Jordan, you work for a big corporate in cybersecurity, so pretty full on role. So is that why, Simone, you decided more to be the person doing the agency side, or was it just more that you want to get out of your job?
Yeah, like a little bit of both, but I think with my role, I don't really have a lot of flexibility. Like I have to go out, I have to go to work, and I go and see and go and help people in that way. So I guess in terms of like looking at our future vision and what we wanted, so like thinking about, when we have a family, I'd like to be able to be present and be at home and help. And, if there's something like fun on at school, like I can go and do that. So I guess I was looking for more flexibility and a different sort of like just a little more future planning, I suppose, and looking at what our vision looks like as well.
Guys, I just realized as you coach over these years, you guys have just nailed it, because what our listeners don't realize is you just mentioned your vision. Tell us what's happening in November.
Yes. Having a baby.
Yeah. Girl.
Baby girl.
That is so cool. Big congratulations. It is fantastic to see you both here today, and glowing, I might add. Look at you, Simone. And you too, Jordan. Far out, the two of you looking awesome as always, by the way. But I love this. I want our community members to realize this is the power of goal setting or setting of life vision. You guys are the perfect example of that. Corporate roles, backed yourselves, learned these digital skills, did transition over time, but you had this obviously a 2 or 3 year goal, and here you are having a family. So Simone, you just said you did it to set yourself up for that flexibility, and mission accomplished. You're there because now with the digital agency, give us some of the so people realize you're about to have a baby. Rather than, this is what I say to a lot of people now, especially young people, rather than swapping time for money and earning, your 100 grand a year or whatever that you're earning as a physio, you're earning that now in your digital agency and building an asset. Now that you've quit your job, and for Simone, for you, and you're working at this, what sort of money are you consistently hitting in the agency now each month?
Yeah.
So we get to capture a moment in time here, this update, and we'll do another update in another year's time. No pressure or anything. But what are you hitting consistently? I know you've just had your first $50,000 month, but in general, what are you hitting?
Yeah, it's between 15 and 25,000 consistently a month. And like at the moment, we've got about 10 project builds, website builds going on at the moment. Yeah, we're getting heaps of leads coming in. Yeah, it's heaps of work as well.
So does it feel like it's suddenly taken off then? What's happened in this last year?
Yeah, I think, well, we got married almost a year ago. So in November, we had our wedding. And then,
now this is super important. Take us through what happened after that.
yeah, so we went on a honeymoon in December and January, went to the States and the Caribbean. So that was really cool. And then, yeah, we got home and yeah.
And I never went back to work. So I resigned. I resigned from my job between our wedding and honeymoon. So I went back to work for a couple of weeks.
Awesome.
And then, yeah, we went on our honeymoon. And then from January, we just sort of hit the ground running, and I started working full time in the business. And that was probably like a huge turning point for us in terms of shifting mindset. And like, I guess it's an identity thing as well. You know, you're forming like I've always, like, being a physio has been part of my identity for like the last 10 years. So shifting that sort of mindset and focus and the belief like that we can really do this, and then it's just sort of snowballed from there. Like, what can I say?
I think, I mean, it was gradual but consistent. I mean, you were part-time for 18 months before you quit the job. So you're doing a 5-day fortnight. So you were like half in, 1 foot in, 1 foot out in a way. But I think we took it, and once we were hitting consistently, 10,000 a month, we knew that it was the right time for her to kind of step into the full-time role. And like, we had thought about it for a while, and okay, well, the wedding, honeymoon, fresh start of the year, let's just give it a crack. I mean, we always had my job, my income as a safety net as well. So yeah, it was kind of went according to plan.
Yeah.
I love it. I love that. So guys, this is great. Thanks so much for sharing this, because I want, there's a lot of people listening to this trying to figure out how do they set up their lives and how do they achieve their goals and visions. And you guys have just done it perfectly in pretty much, say, 3 to 4 years. So I like what you just said then, Jordan. So for you two, so for anyone listening to this, basically for you two, your strategy was, Jordan, you keep your job, your role, and Simone, even though you had a senior physio role, part of your life vision, though, it's not so much about the money, it was about where you are now, about to have a bub. So, I'm guessing you could see from like Liz and our other champions who've had babies and stuff, as you know, when you work online as a new mum, it is perfect. It is just the best way ever to raise your kids. So I'm presuming that was your goal. And so then what you said then, Jordan, was, and that's what I was going to ask you, at what point did you make the decision for you, Simone, to quit? It was basically once you replaced your income, once you started consistently hitting 10 grand a month and you felt you had enough security to back yourselves. That, guys, congratulate, you did it. That is so unreal. And that was at around the 3-year mark. So like you said, Jordan, this was like some of our champions where you go bull at a gate and just nail it in 1 year. You guys kind of took your time not took your time. Like, you guys are very consistent. This was just it's more a transition over a 3-year period.
Yeah, I think for us, we always knew we were going to take the longer route, just because of where we were at, our goals, our vision. And I always like the analogy of the ladder with, little steps, and just taking a little step, and you'll get to the same spot as everyone who takes the big steps, but just being consistent and making sure that we just, improve, do something little every day, or improve a little bit every day, I think for us has been our kind of goal, and just being able to build our business kind of over time, and I think, and it was all part of our vision, and there are champions that do, in their first year, and that's awesome, and it's really inspiring to see. But I think it's also really cool to see that it can take time. You can go about it in a longer term approach, and it does work that way as well. So there's lots of different ways.
And I think, Jordan, your words to me were, you've done it in a risk averse approach. Being a cybersecurity expert, that's actually a pretty cool way to do it, but it is a good way to view it. So for as you know, Jordan, there's a lot of people like you guys who are professionals, and they don't want to take big risks at this stage in their lives. Often they're a lot older than you two. So thank you though for sharing this sort of an example of what can be done. You can do this in a risk-averse way. Obviously, it's easier if you're a couple as well. So I'm presuming that's worked really well for you. You two work very closely together, and you share the same vision. And have you found that working together? Has that been fun for you as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good question because we do share the same vision, but we also have different skill sets, and we've figured that out along the way as well. So Jordan is very good at the technical side of things.
I should hope so, Simone. What do we reckon? and I'm sure your employer hopes so as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, I've been able to take on more the admin and the technical side and just setting things up. So that Simone's great at SEO, she's great at design, great at kind of all of those things.
Bringing together the content and all that kind of thing.
And Simone, the hats off to you. What you're both not saying, but I'm going to be a little bit blunt about it here, right? You have changed so much. Look at you now. And what do you reckon, Jordan? You got to be so proud of her. I remember when you first came on, you were very shy. I'm going to be blunt. Like, you're very shy. And that's why it is such a wonderful thing for me today to be interviewing you both and looking at you, obviously about to be proud parents. But Simone, for you, I think mindset wise, what a complete 180. Like you're what we're not saying here, guys, anyone listening to this, Simone's the face of the company. You're out there, super shy and everything, but you just got out there and made it happen. You joined BNI. How did that go for you? And what was it like?
Oh, it was scary. Look, I look back and think about thinking about the first year in Champions, and particularly there's that one boot camp where it talks about networking and getting out there and talking about your business and things like that. And I just shut off. I just shut off. I said, no, that's not me.
Said you felt sick.
I felt sick in the stomach, thinking about that.
Wow. Yep.
So and I know you said I can hear you in the back of my head, Matt, saying if you want to grow your business, you need to get out there and network. You need to network and all this sort of thing. So after about a year of deliberating that, I decided to sort of reach out to the local sort of BNI region and just say, okay, I'm ready to at least come and visit and just see what it's like. So visiting was actually okay. It's a nice structured meeting. You get to sit back and listen and you have your opportunity to speak. So I liked that. And then over time, obviously I joined my own sort of BNI chapter that I've been a part of now for the last 2 years. And yes, it has helped us grow our business, but it has helped so much more from a self-development point of view. Confidence in public speaking, all of those sorts of things.
You can see it in you, Simone. It is just awesome to see what a difference. And at your young age, for you to building this business together and a family together and having those personal development lessons, I personally think the world's your oyster. I want to, hats off to you for having the guts to quit your job, Simone. Seriously, that's it. Like you said, that was your identity. You weren't just a physio. You weren't just newly out of uni. You're a senior physio. That's how you were known. And now you own a digital agency, public speaking at BNI. You ran a BNI group too? Did you become a president or what? No, what was your position?
Yeah, so I was the vice president.
There you go.
Chapter. So and for 2 years. So I've just stepped down now as I take my maternity leave from BNI. And I didn't want to do it at the start, but it's a good opportunity, definitely.
Yeah. And look at the changes that it's made. I think it helps not just mindset and confidence, but also an entrepreneurial mindset as well. I think you guys can go on and do whatever you want, but I want you to stay focused on your agency. But here's something interesting too that I'd like you to share, because I think it's really important for people doing this strategy. So they've got an idea of your journey, what you did. So you transitioned out for you, Simone, when you hit that $10,000 a month mark, which makes sense financially. Jordan, you kept your job. in terms of the leads, so you got your main kickoff with BNI because you started with zero digital skills, building websites and stuff, no business people. So that's how you got the lift off with BNI. Fast forward now, so 3 years down the track, where are you getting your leads? Because we got, everyone's asking this, and you mentioned you're stepping back from BNI. Where are you getting most of your leads from now? How does it break down now?
So BNI is about 30% of our leads
Okay.
at the moment, so about a third. And the other 70% comes from our website, our local SEO. Our website gets leads, we get calls, get contact forms. Some come from Facebook, from Facebook groups as well. That we had one last week that we just signed on. He's in Brisbane, and he found us through someone recommended us in a physio chiropractor like Facebook group, and then we jumped on there. So then he contacted us. So
all right, so and you're in Sydney, so interstate, so there's no borders now. And where did you've just landed, Jordan? How did you get the big job? And tell us what the big job is. Don't say the name of the company, but where would a lead like that come from, and how big was it?
Yeah, so they found us through our website. They're looking for someone local, website designer local, and they really liked our website. They liked, on our about page, we had a lot of info about us. They felt like they formed a connection with us, which was great. And we went through the process. There was kind of like a tender process because it was a large company. We ended up landing it because I think they, resonated with us a lot, and I think they liked us and liked someone local. We go down to their office and speak with them.
Right.
It's quite a large job. It's split over 2 phases because they are quite a large company, and it was a large website that we were redesigning. But I think it comes over $60,000 in terms of the 2 phases.
All right, and you haven't even started. Well done, guys. This is awesome. So this is getting exciting. And how much have I asked this question already? Just so people got an idea of what's possible after 3 years, transitioning out gently over time. What's the consistent recurring revenues in your agency at this point? Because there's a moment in time, and in a year we'll do an update. But where are you up to there? Like the regular maintenance or SEO and stuff.
Yeah, it's about 8,000 a month at the moment, maintenance and SEO, and that's growing every month.
So now you would expect it to start to get a bit exponential.
Yeah, it's growing. Like most of the clients we finish opt into a maintenance plan with us that we host and maintain their website. Nice. And we're picking up SEO clients as well.
This is perfect, guys. So after 3 years doing this part-time as a side hustle, Simone is now full-time. You've just landed a 60. Have you put all this together? You just landed a 60,000 client. You've had your first $50,000 a month. You're consistently turning over what, 20 to 25 grand a month, or 15 to 25 grand a month. You're hitting about 8 grand a month recurring revenues just off SEO services, and 70% of your leads come from word of mouth or your website, your own website, which is super cool. So there's not a lot of marketing costs. So you've got the flywheel. The flywheel's dialed in, it's working, and it's getting bigger and bigger now. So now you're on a roll. And something else I want to point out, all those years ago it wasn't all that long ago, was it, Simone? When we did that call and I suggested, look, if you can, back yourself. You got nothing to lose at your age, to go for it. Take a break from being a physio and see what happens. And here we are, just 2 years later after that call, you've got this massive flywheel happening. I want to point out, if you'd stayed as a physio, Simone, you would have been earning 100 grand a year, and that's all you'd have to show for it today. Now you're sitting on an asset that one day will be worth 7 figures, like in $1 million. Because once you hit that, 30 grand a month recurring consistently, as you know, in our community, it's worth around $1 million, or around $800 to $1 million as an asset. So in a way, you guys have built yourself an asset over the last 2 years as well, which is as good as real estate, which I love. That's awesome. That is super cool.
Yeah.
And a life for yourselves working together, and the mindset changes as well for you, Simone. Just mind blowing. It is so cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool to look back and see how things have evolved and where we are today, and how, we're building, great sites for a whole range of businesses, large and small. And, at the end of the day, like what we want for our clients is that they have an asset for their business as well, and that we can help them build their brand, and then we're connecting them with their ideal clients.
And Simone, I'm presuming you just said there you love helping your clients and getting them great results, because I know you two are really good at that. But I'm presuming that you specialize in allied health webs, like doing sites for physios and things as well, and allied health. Are you guys kind of known in that space at this point? Or is that where you're building it up?
We've definitely, that's an area of focus for us, because like I know how the clinics run. I know like how I can relate to the physios and allied health as well. So, you know, I can speak their lingo and I understand sort of who they're wanting to target, and you know, the ins and outs of, you know, what you can and can't do on an allied health website as well. So yeah, we've taken on like a number of clients in that space, and you know, one client in particular has done really well with her site, that, you know, she's starting to pop up, and there are other physios that are approaching her now, asking for mentoring and things like that. So the website itself has positioned her as, you know, someone with authority, like I guess in that field, and it's doing a really good job for her. Yeah.
Guys, like seriously, well done. You've achieved your vision that you set 3 years ago. Must be a cool feeling. Like it, and that's why it's so cool that you're not only helping to inspire our listeners and everyone in our community with your story, but just seriously big congratulations, and on about to start a new family, like so many other champions, especially in the last year or two. I think it's a perfect way to start a family. You know, that's when, for Liz and I, our business took off online once the kids came along. You know, it is a wonderful thing, especially for mum, to be working from home while you're raising a family. It's awesome. Hats off to you both. Like, just absolutely unreal.
Yeah,
Thank you.
it's really cool. I mean, we're good friends with a lot of other champions as well, and a mission company we're really close with. And
Cool.
Simone's already said she's not taking a laptop into the hospital. She's not doing that.
Like happening. Yes.
So yeah, so we've learnt from that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really cool. Like, we've still, like, even though this is our first year out of champions, we are still very connected with the community, with other champions. We, you know, talk a lot with other champions and have that network there as well. And we've even kind of referred to and from champions as well. So it's, you know, it's been a really good environment, really good community. We like to stay in touch, and yeah, it's been really good.
And that's our thing, Jordan. Publicly, I want to say a big thank you to you, because Liz and I do notice you help out people with cyber. Not that Jordan's giving free advice or anything, but it's wonderful that you help the community out with cybersecurity tips. And remember, you did a really cool post on, I know this sounds geeky, but you know, setting up the email thing, and anyone listening to this knows what that's like, setting up the email. You've helped out a lot of people with technical stuff, and it's always nice the way you write those posts on the private Facebook pages is really helpful. So Liz read your last one and goes, "Oh, Jordan's done it for me. Like, it was awesome." And other people, and also the cybersecurity stuff. Even though we teach cybersecurity, I know you've looked over what we've taught and said it's good, but it's good. It's much appreciated that you do those sorts of updates, and that's what happens and you do it for digital investors as well. So big thank you for there, because it is always good to have experts like yourself in the community, because you know, you do have such a strong background in that space, and it is such an important area. So big thank you. In addition to now inspiring everyone with this awesome update. That is unreal, guys.
Yeah, thanks, mate. I'd just like to give back as well, and I know how daunting it can be for some people. It can be very confusing. I'm lucky I have a technical background, so a lot of it kind of came fairly quickly to me, but I know how daunting it is, some of the aspects, and I just like to try and give back and help others where I can. And I find that, you know, when you give back, you know, opportunities come as well. Like you're able to, you know, you can give, and also, you know, you're known. And I've had people reach out to me, ask if I can help them with things as well. So it's great. I really enjoy it.
Yeah, well, thank you both, and it is seriously well done. Can't wait for our next update in another year's time. But thank you so much. You've just helped inspire so many